Hey guys, welcome to another BAC review. Today we're talking about the 10-point Viper. No, not that Viper. The other Viper. This Viper. Not that Viper either. Get that out of here. This Viper. You know what? I'm taking my tea. Hey guys, welcome to another BAC review for real this time. My name is Reed and we're up here at Bill's Archery Center in Transfer, PA. Today we're talking about the Viper S400 crossbow. Alright guys, so starting off with the specifications of this bow, it is 11 inches axle to axle decocked, so just like it sits, and then that shrinks down all the way to 7.2 inches axle to axle when it's fully cocked, which is just incredibly small. You can see how narrow this crossbow is, so it's perfect for tight spaces. The power stroke is 11 inches long, so it gets a good bit of speed out of that. It's 7.5 pounds sticker weight. Now, no crossbow company, if you don't know, weighs the bow with everything on it, like the quiver, the scope. They always take that off to weigh it. So what I wanted to do with the scale here, give you an actual field weight for this crossbow. This bow looks like it weighs just about 9.8 pounds. Which isn't too bad. That's actually lighter than a lot of the other high-end crossbows in general. So 9.8 is not too bad when it's fully loaded. Now the speed of this crossbow, it is the Viper S400, that stands for 400 foot per second. That is with the 370 grain Pro Light bolt. Now another thing about crossbows, and this isn't just 10 point, this is all the brands, they all advertise with a specific weight bolt as their speed. So just to go through the list of bolts that 10 point offers for this bow, the Pro Light bolt, which is a 370 grain bolt, is 400 foot per second. The Pro Elite bolt is 390 foot per second, which is a 400 grain bolt. And the bolt that it comes with, which is the Evo X center punch bolt, which is a much nicer straightness and it's a lot heavier, so it's really good for hunting, is a 445 grain total weight bolt, and that'll give you a 370 foot per second crossbow. It's just packs a punch. It's ridiculous. So now we get to the cool features on this bow. So one of the main features that 10 point has on all their high-end crossbows is this new AccuSlide for them. So this is how you're going to cock and decock their crossbow. The handle for the crank is stored in the stock, just like so. You take it right out, you push this button on the handle down, you insert the handle into the crank, and you just have a cocking and a decocking direction. So you decock the crank, you push in this little silver switch, then you run the trigger box all the way down to the string, where it clips on nicely, and you'll see the safety turn on and engage when it clips on the string. And now all you have to do is cock it the cocking direction instead of the decocking direction, and it'll crank right up the whole way. You'll know you're the whole way back when that silver switch we push clicks over. And now we push in our button, take the crank handle back out, and we're ready to shoot once we load a bolt. Now decocking this crossbow is just as easy as cocking it. You take this same handle, you push that button in, reattach it to the crank. Now holding this silver switch the whole time, you start decocking the bow. And that's very important. You have to hold in that silver switch while you're decocking the bow. And as you can see there, it goes right back down effortlessly. And as soon as the trigger box gets out of this hole, or this section, then you can let go of the silver switch. It's only important as the trigger box is the whole way back. That's what holds it in place when you're shooting. And there you go, the bow is decocked. So one of the coolest features about this crank is that at no point is this handle going to free slide on you. So if I let go of it at any point during the cocking and decocking process, it's going to stay put. So it is completely safe. It's not going to free spin. You don't have to disengage any safety features. This thing is never going to free spin on you. So that's, cocking it, decocking it, either direction. This handle is always going to be stuck in place where it's at, which is awesome. Now, the next cool feature they give you on this year's bows is the S1 trigger. So that's an all-new trigger from 10 point. That is a 2-stage zero creep trigger, which is really crisp. It's super smooth to pull. There's no travel at all in it, which is where the zero creep is from. Now, another cool thing, which you can't really see here too well, I'll just pop it up on the screen, is the micro track barrel. So most barrels are an aluminum barrel that is machined and flat. Now this barrel, the micro track barrel, it gets that name from these cutouts or grooves that are in the barrel. Now that reduces friction on the center serving of your shoot string. So not only does it save your shoot string some wear and tear, but it also increases the speed of the crossbow. Now the last cool feature of this bow, or at least the one I'm going to talk about today, is the Rangemaster Pro scope. That's the scope that comes on it. Now the Rangemaster scope, I believe, has yardage marks from 20 to 60, and it is lighted in red and green. And this scope has something very cool called a speed ring. If you've not seen a speed ring before, how they work is when you sight the crossbow in at 20 yards, you'll go back out to your furthest distance that you have in the scope, or the furthest distance you're comfortable shooting, and you sight in the elevation at that point with this speed ring. So what that does is it effectively adjusts the magnification to adjust for the drop of your bolts. Now, as any bow breaks in or strand cables break in, you may lose a couple foot per second. Some people might want to shoot longer fletching, some people want to shoot heavier points. So what the speed ring lets you do is, however you have the bow set up, you can dial in every yardage mark to be exact, regardless of if you're shooting stock bolts or if you want to shoot a heavier tip or that kind of thing. So you really have a lot of room to play with it. One of the big things with bolts is a lot of people like to run a lighted bolt, and lighted nocks generally run 10 to 15 grains heavier than a standard nock. So if you want to run lighted nocks, you can actually use this speed ring to make sure your lighted nocks are dead on for hunting at all your distances. Now that we've gone over the specs and features, we can talk kind of about my opinions getting to shoot this bow and put it together. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite crossbows under $2,000. This bow's MSRP, as it sits in this camo color, is $1649.99, which for a high-end crossbow that gives you a cocking and decocking system like this is actually a pretty good price. A lot of the other 10 points get to $1,850 and $2,000 really quickly. So the fact that you get such a narrow, fast platform like this with pretty much all their high-end features of stuff like the Vapor and the Havoc and things like that, excluding the reverse draw, the extra speed, is awesome. So you get all the functional features, but it's just not quite as fast as those $2,000 and $3,000 setups. Now this bow, we talked about it a little bit earlier with the bolt weight versus the speed. I actually really like this bolt weight. Now some people are going to complain that with this bolt that's only 370 foot per second, it's just kind of how the crossbow market is, but the best way I explain it to people here in the shop is, if you throw a wiffle ball as hard as you can, it kind of hurts your shoulder because it's not heavy enough to absorb the energy from the throw. If you throw a baseball as hard as you can, it doesn't hurt your shoulder. That's how professional baseball players still have careers without hurting their shoulders too much. That baseball is going to have, not only does it transfer energy so much more efficiently to that heavier bolt, it also helps the bow just discharge the energy. When a bow is loud, and crossbows have a reputation for being loud, that's because there's residual energy in the bow the bolt did not accept. And that's most commonly because either the knock is not a good type of knock, which 10 points is awesome, I really like your awful knock, or the bolt's just too light. You're throwing a wiffle ball as fast as you can out the muzzle, it decelerates by 40 yards, and then you have no killing power. With a heavy bolt like this, it just packs a punch out to 60, 70, 80, and it does great. Honestly, I'd run heavy tips on these too, and just really pack a punch. So that's kind of my whole 2 cents on the bolt weight versus speed thing. I'd rather have this heavy bolt and a slower bow than a wiffle ball going 900 miles an hour. This bow is also one of the safest crossbows on the market, in the sense that it obviously has all the normal safety features like the anti-dry fire and the rail guards and all this stuff, but I'm specifically referencing the decocking mechanism of the crank. A lot of cranks, to decock them, you have to disengage the anti-reverse, so that if that handle slips, it's going to free spin, and if your fingers are in the way, it's going to clip you and it's going to hurt. Now, again, that's something that not all crossbow companies recommend doing if you have to do that, like to disengage the anti-reverse to decock it. But with this one, you don't have to disengage any safety features. This bow is completely safe, cocking to decocking, whole 9 yards, the whole hunt start to finish. So again, one of my favorite, safest crossbows on the market. The only negative really for this bow, and I know I've given it a lot of good things, is 10 points warranty is only a 5-year limited lifetime warranty. I kind of wish that was lifetime like some of the other brands at the time, but I've never really had to repair one either. So, and as much as the warranty is only 5 years, unless there's a lot of user error and you're doing things incorrectly with it, I've not had to work on it. So they are super consistent and really well built, but you do only get that 5-year warranty. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content, and we'll see you in the next one.